Greg Kelly, Biden is a communist. I mean, at this point, are they even trying? Also, does Greg Kelly know what a fucking communist is? Also, what? Biden is a is a communist. Here we go.
Let's forget about all that so-called chaos on Capitol Hill. There's no speaker for 2.5 minutes. It's fine. It's not.
It's fine. It's not. Blah, 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 blah. There's nothing. This is how the Republicans. This is what I meant to do that. This is what Republicans are supposed to do. They're supposed to fuck around and find out, and that's what they are doing. But the smoking gun actually has a gun with smoke coming out of it and a house. I'm guessing they're talking about the gun that he bought that he never fired. All right.
Chaos.
This is all the evidence we should need. Shit, this is going to be solved. Let's go.
They want you to think it's chaos, and they want us to not actually know a thing about one of the many smoking guns, genuine smoking guns that's...
A genuine smoking gun, an actual smoking gun, a gun that smokes. Okay.
Around Joe Biden and Hunter. This has received scant attention.
Nobody's paying attention to this except everybody, because, by the way, you do realize that it's getting scant attention because anybody with half a fucking brain is looking at it going, that's bullshit, who cares?
But it justifies not only an impeachment inquiry, it justifies articles of impeachment.
Yeah, I mean, it's game, set, match. All right.
It justifies we're getting damn near close to a trial in the Senate. Take a look. Why is this not the biggest story in the world? A wire...
Oh, because of the house, the address, the whole idea that, I mean, I'm enjoying the Indiana Jones artwork, but you do realize no one gets hundreds of thousands of dollars wired into their home.
Transfer from Beijing, China to Wilmington, Delaware. Destination for $250,000, Joe Biden's house. Wired from...
Yeah, no one thinks that. No one wires money to a house. It went to a bank. It was taken out of the bank in California because while this was the only permanent residence at the time, he had the money was used while Hunter was in California. We all know this. If it's only gotten scant attention, how come I fucking know this and you don't? Maybe it's only gotten scant attention from you because if you actually look into it, it falls apart. That might be the key. That might be what's really going on at Newsmax. That they glance at something and think, is it, oh my God, fucking crimey crime. You want to look at it again just to make sure? Nah, fuck that. Let's run with it.
Jonathan Lee, prominent Chinese businessman who was working with Hunter Biden.
And Devin Archer, who you trust, but Hunter, you don't.
You'll remember the notorious trip that Hunter tagged along with his vice presidential dad to China back in, I think it was 2014. They went from the airplane to the hotel downtown and met with, yes, Jonathan Lee. Now, anybody, even the fake news, back when they still had a little shred of curiosity, knows that this setup stinks.
Your father did shake hands with Mr. Lee, though, correct, in the lobby of that hotel?
I don't remember, but probably. Yeah, I hope so. I hope he did. He was my friend.
Jonathan Lee.
Yeah, for almost 13 years.
He was your friend and your business
Yeah,
partner.
but I understand. So really, Amy, whether I'm in New York or whether I'm in Washington, D.C., a friend and a business associate is in the hotel, and my dad's staying there. Is it inappropriate for me to have coffee with them? I don't
so that
find
meeting
anything
was
wrong.
not a mistake. It was not unethical.
100% not. No.
What do you say to people who believe this is exactly why people hate Washington? A vice president's son can make money in countries where you're...
Back then, that's during the campaign. Lied
Right, and we all saw it and we don't care.
to the American people about the money situation, right? More on that in a second, but isn't
And when he says more on that, he means more on that.
it fascinating how he answers that? Basically answers it every possible way. I don't remember. No. Probably. Yeah. These are...
Gee, it almost sounds like Trump in court. Actually, the point is he doesn't remember if he shook hands, but he doesn't think it's inappropriate if his dad went, hey, this is Jonathan Lee, he's my friend. He's here in China. I'm meeting with him or whatever. And then dad goes off and does shit. Again, at that time, drugs and probably trying to leverage his dad, or at least, trying to make things look good, but still not getting anything from his dad for any of this shit. Otherwise, Jonathan Lee's deal would have gone through. It didn't.
Skilled liars. But weirdly,
It's so weird. It's so weird.
weird as hell, Hunter might be telling the truth in this one instance, because the money in that venture with Mr. Lee, at least here, it did not go to Hunter. It went to Joe Biden.
No, it didn't. It went to Hunter's bank account. They're not really making that argument, are they? What does he think? There's like one of those old-fashioned like bank tubes that arrives at Biden's house, and just like you open it up and money just flies out like it's raining.
That wire transfer went to Wilmington, Delaware on August 2nd, 2019, and Hunter wasn't there.
No, it didn't. It goes to the bank, not to the fucking house. What are you talking about? It went into whatever his bank that he has an account in elsewhere. Like it went to the bank's digital holding. But all right.
In all of 2019, he was in California.
Oh fuck! Well, that's it. There you go. That's. He was in California the entire time, and in 2019, when Joe Biden is not president, and Hunter Biden is not and has never been a federal employee, money went to a bank in Delaware, to a wire to the directly to the bank with the associated address. And there is no way in 2019 that people could digitally get dollars out of a bank account that they had in another state using wire transfers or debit cards, or like, this is just fucking stupid.
How about that, huh? Yeah, that's where we did that interview with Amy Rohrback, right?
Well, obviously. So, did he fly back to Delaware at any point that year? Maybe he went down and picked it up in a suitcase. Maybe he picked it up in a fucking. He and Walter went down there and swapped out the ringer, my dirty undies, the whites.
When his dad was showing up in California for a bunch.
2019. I don't care. He's not president. He's not vice president. He's not even a federal employee. None of them are. What the fuck?
Of presidential debates, and famously said what I think the Chinese would really want our foreign policy to be.
What I would do as president is several more things, because things have changed. I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
That's
right. Why would that be a China thing?
1 month after he got $250,000 from the Chinese, it looks like, according to all the evidence, and we have this from the House.
Did Warren and Bernie get the same amount? I mean, arguably, Bernie said nicer things about China than Joe has. You don't have a clip about China? I would have. I guess they couldn't go with the clips with him in talking to Trump about China because they all happened in 2020. And
House Oversight Committee. When you speak like that, the people who are oppressed, genuinely oppressed, already know America, land of the free. But the people who want money, opportunity, a life of crime.
What is that? Hold on. The people who want money, opportunity, a life of crime, the fruits of crime. Greg, wait a minute. What the fuck is this?
Who are oppressed, genuinely oppressed, already know America.
Yeah, they know. The most oppressed people who've been denied an education and beaten because of their political beliefs, they know about America. They've heard about it.
Land of the free. But the people who want money, opportunity.
Money and opportunity. Fuck them.
A life of crime.
I don't know why those three things are linked together, but.
Sorry, they take that as a signal. Come, we're letting you in, and we are. All that.
sorry, uh, we should shun people who come here because they want opportunity and want and money. So I agree. So you're saying we should basically drive away any foreign business people who want to do business in the United States. You might be onto something, although it might fuck up the Live Golf tournament.
Money that went to the Bidens from China, is that why we let that balloon sail right over this?
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. It's not why we let the 4 that flew over during the Trump administration fly over, but that one in particular, yeah, that was bought and paid for. Also, it didn't transmit anything according to the DOD. But, you know, most people in the military are Democrats anyways, you know, clearly, historically speaking.
Country. I mean, let's face it, that was incredibly weird. I mean,
yeah, why did it go there and not straight to Wilmington, Delaware, where it could be downloaded into Joe Biden's servers and China?
Wrong, inappropriate. I mean, just how do you justify allowing that to happen?
Well, because if you want to be suckered into releasing a bioweapon over your own country, you'd blow it up when it's over the heads of Americans instead of just jamming it and waiting till it gets out over water and then blowing up. We're not going to re-litigate this bullshit again, are we? The consequences of Joe's actions. It was shot down and we have it.
Can't. But you can kind of see how it did happen when you factor in the money.
No, you can't. Because they didn't get anything.
Smoking gun stuff, more than adequate for articles of impeachment.
No. Otherwise, you'd have to also impeach everyone in the military who told him not to shoot it down, and he took their advice and consent and their recommendation to wait as they jammed it as it went over the rest of the country. Because that's what'll come out in the impeachment trial. Those military leaders will sit down and go, it was my advice to the president that he not shoot it down. He had actually asked us if we should or it would be a good idea to do it. When can we do it? And we said we should wait until it's out over water because we don't want it to harm anybody and we don't know what's in it. And it creates a situation where it could be literally a test balloon for some sort of biological or chemical weapon later on. So we wait until it's out over the water and we can jam it and it's not going anywhere and that's fine. And then I guess what do? Pack it up by noon?
Now, a couple more things about the
well, you're going to need a
speaker. You know, they say that Kevin McCarthy
is a dickhead, is a complete wuss, has the most condescending voice in the history of the House speakership. We called him the squeaker of the House.
Well, guess what? I know that he was in it for the perks. That was a large part of it. Hey, look at me. I'm the speaker. Ha ha.
Yeah, the perks of having a son.
But all the talk about speaker got me thinking about an old speaker, a former speaker.
Dennis Hastert, because you want to bring him back because that's your idea?
His name was Dennis Hastert. Name is?
Oh, yeah.
Dennis Hastert. There he was with Bill Clinton, right? State of the Union.
Yeah.
Dennis Hastert. Do you remember?
The Republican Speaker of the House.
George W. Bush. I think he was the longest Republican speaker we ever had. A big...
Right. Republican Speaker. Excellent point. Yeah, I don't think this is going the direction you want it to go.
Deal. Yeah, his portrait is up there in the... Was
up there. It has since been taken
Capitol.
back.
And he went to prison.
Yeah. He's... You know what? Probably because he didn't have Alina Habba working for him. Clearly. I don't think this is setting up the story that you think you're setting up.
He was guilty of molesting children. He did it while he was a high school football coach before he entered Congress.
Right. Why are you licking your lips like that when you mention being a child molester in high school? A barf.
Went to jail for it.
As he should. Yeah.
You know, it received some media attention, but strangely not nearly adequate. I've seen...
Really? You think the problem with the mainstream media is that they didn't cover a Republican child molester enough?
Republican congressmen who've gotten pulled over for drunk driving received more attention than he did for molesting children. Isn't that weird? Somebody who was second in line for the presidency. Now listen, you've heard of that Pizzagate situation. I don't believe that. I don't believe.
Oh, good. Okay, cool. But you do believe that this dude got a pass? Are we gonna, Greg, where are you going? Where are you going? You might want to plot these ideas out. Fucking hell. All right.
The Pizzagate story. However, the denials were almost louder than the story, the accusations, actually, the story itself.
A totally outrageous, easily debunked.
There was a guy who showed up with a fucking gun. What are you talking about? The people who said this is nuts, this is dangerous, it's ridiculous, because a guy showed up at a fucking pizza parlor with a gun, thinking he was going to free children from the fucking basement that the place doesn't even fucking have.
Story of some child sex ring being operated out of a popular pizza joint.
Turned it into this amazing story.
Fake news brought armed man to pizzeria. That's why. What the ever-living fuck, Greg?
All untrue about Hillary Clinton, John Podesta somehow being involved in a child sex ring.
Okay, I didn't believe the story either.
Did you believe the story that a guy showed up with a fucking gun? Because that's why it became a news story. It's on the fucking Chiron, you tit.
It's curious, though, that Mr. Meek, all right, James Meek, he was writing stories about Russia disinformation and how the Russians were colluding with President Trump and all that stuff, right? You saw all those stories. And he cited the Pizzagate story as something that was obviously not true. And I do believe it's not true. But it's interesting that this man is going to prison for, you guessed it, child pornography and abusing children. He is said to have coaxed children into taking naked pictures of themselves and sending them to him, and other horrible, horrible misdeeds.
Yeah, you're not going to get into Scott Ritter?
This comes up all too often. A prominent, very high-ranking producer at CNN some time ago who worked closely with Chris Cuomo is now in federal prison for a long time for actually...
You do realize this is how it should go. So, are you going to follow this up with why is Matt Gaetz still running free?
Not just child...
Why is Jim Jordan going to be Speaker of the House when he knew of sexual assault at Ohio State University?
Pornography, actual...
Is the fact that Donald Trump is legally considered a rapist disqualifying for office? No?
Well, illegal sexual act.
Real quick. Hold on to that thought. One second. Let's see. Go to studio mode. Take this kind of thing. Let's see. Where's the... Go back to here. Maybe this business. We'll take this guy. And just grab it. And then we'll blow this up like this. And we'll push it up like this. Okay. Now, sorry. You were saying...
with a child. These stories somehow don't receive the attention that I think they're due. Somehow a Republican congressman who gets pulled over for drunk driving receives more attention. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it's very interesting that that 20 years of being friends with Jeffrey Epstein doesn't even rank up there on your show with a Republican congressman who gets pulled over for drunk driving. Huh.
All right. What's next?
All right. That's What more do you need? Shit. At this point, I don't even know why we're having this conversation. I guess. Right, dum dum. Hold on one second. Boop. Turn this off real quick. You don't find that strange, Greg? 20 years of hanging out, this fucker didn't know. I know the best people. I know he likes ladies on the younger side. I know. The only reason Trump got mad at Jeffrey Epstein is because he went after one of the daughters of one of the rich dudes who was there. You're allowed to do it to the locals. You're allowed to do it to the fucking high schoolers in the area. Fuck them. It doesn't matter. I don't care. But don't mess with the money makers who come to my club. That was what the argument was about. Not about how wrong it is for him to try and fuck a 16-year-old, but or a 15-year-old or a 14-year-old, but because it messed with the bottom line.
today I'm announcing my administration has approved an additional $9 billion in relief for
Biden tries to give away money again.
125,000 borrowers in just the past few weeks under that program. With the latest.
Yes, for public service, because they became EMTs or nurses or teachers or they, valued industries we need more of. This program, this idea has been around for decades. Reagan was a big fan of it. Shut the fuck up.
Debt cancellation in total, my administration has canceled $127 billion in student debts for nearly 3.6 million Americans.
It's pretty low key when he's giving $127 billion of our money away. I thought.
No, he's just zeroing out the debt. We only get the interest from it, and if people can't pay it back anyways, and if we're benefiting as a society from them having these jobs and continuing on into these jobs, more so than the benefit financially that you would get from the interest, it's a better investment.
He couldn't do this. Didn't the Supreme Court just say you can't do this, Joe Biden? They did in a 6-3 decision. He's trying to.
Yeah, but he found other ways to do it.
Find a workaround.
Yeah, because promises made, promises kept.
Pretty, what's the word? Communist. This is so.
It's pretty communist. Yeah. It's pretty communist. Pretty commie kind of thing to do. You know what I mean? It's like, it's right up there with, what's that other big communist thing? Tax breaks for sports stadiums. You know what I mean? When they give, that's fucking straight up communism at this point. It's, when you give the Detroit Lions a tax break on their new fucking stadium, that's commie stuff. That's they might as well be the Detroit Lenins.
Socialist stuff, right? This really is what they were talking about. Free.
Over there. This is where Joe Biden will give the people who are become nurses a break on interest payment on the. Basically, it's communism. It's not quite yet, but I'm passing the torch to you, Joe Biden.
Everything for everybody. The government is the be-all and the end-all. Leonid Brezhnev is a guy who ran the Soviet Union back in the day, and you know what? He has the same manner, the same bearing, and always saying stuff that's not true as our friend Joe Biden. Yep, always boasting about things that didn't actually happen. The economy.
What?
Economy is great when it's sputtering. Leonid Brezhnev and Joe Biden. Wow, a match that actually works. They got a lot.
A match that, look, they're sitting at a desk and they're talking, and this was taken straight ahead. I mean, it's one's in black and white, and one guy's white, and the other guy's got black hair, and the other guy's got white hair, and also they're not talking about similar things at all. Good Lord.
Not in common.
Yeah, don't avoid the Leonid.
Next.
Last time you spoke to President Biden.
The government is focused on all the wrong things. This is just like a Whitman sampler of idiocy from Greg tonight, isn't it?
Do you expect to now?
You know, I was thinking about that. It's been a long, long time. I couldn't remember when I spoke to him last.
You know, I've been thinking about this. I showed it to you earlier, but it's like he didn't talk to the president like I didn't talk to my Aunt Mary. When is the last time I talked to my Aunt Mary? I come to think of it, I should give her a call sometime. Kevin McCarthy, uncreative, unaggressive. I'm actually, as you know, I'm a fan of what happened this week.
Jesus Christ. I'm a fan of what happened. I bought the t-shirt. I got the vinyl. I'm excited about it. I don't understand it, and that's partly why. God damn.
I had to figure it out.
I had to figure it out. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Who watches this shit? Who watches this fucking show? This is a show. Like, think of this. Chat room, I fucking love you guys. But good Lord, Greg Kelly's clips don't exist in like a vacuum in a little box on my fucking show. He has a whole hour every night of the week. What the hell? That's fucking amazing. It's stunning. This is who turns? I need the inside scoop. God damn. Yeah, it is filler. Like this is just flailing for one, but fuck. I mean, it literally is just an example of it's like, let's just run through clips of how he has no grasp of how anything fucking works at all.
But he had other things he could have done. I know getting legislation passed is hard, especially given the situation down there.
You mean the fact that you have to get it through the Senate and the president has to sign it? And you've got a wafer thin fucking margin in the House? You know, things.
But there are other things you can do.
Yeah, you can stay in your office and drink wine and masturbate and live in fear and barricade the door. I think barricading the door is an option as well. There are other things, the stuff Greg does when he doesn't want to do his show.
There's other trimming. And go to the White House.
Other trimming? Excuse me? Other trimming? What the fuck?
But there are other things you can do. There's other trimming. And go to the White House and demand to see him. Did you hear about the guy who was nailed for dogfighting? Yeah, a senior Pentagon official, Frederick Douglass Moorfield Jr.
Where are you? What?
Arrested.
Yes, arrested and nailed for it. And?
Allegedly, he was, having dogs fight each other.
Yeah, that's what dogfighting means. If I understand the word correctly.
Totally illegal and wrong.
Right, agreed. Look at that, Greg, twice in a day.
Executing the dogs who lost with electric jumper cables. Horrible. This is also kind of horrible, far less so, but also weird. His job, Deputy Chief Information Officer for Command, Control, and Communications for Office of Secretary of Defense.
Right, he's one of like 10 of those guys.
Office of the Secretary of Defense. The office
has several deputies who get chief information officer after they've been there over 2 years or something.
A deputy chief for information for command, control, and...
Right, I don't understand why commie Joe Biden wouldn't want to keep this guy simply because he's black and we look the other way when black people crime, don't we, Greg?
Communications in an office.
In an office? Was he dogfighting in the office as well? Was that maybe that's what was happening with Commander. Inquiring minds are confused.
Talk about bureaucratic bloat. Wouldn't it be nice to get rid of some of this stuff? You can. There's a...
What? Bureaucratic bloat? What?
Way. I keep hearing, well, it doesn't actually add up to all that much. You know what? It actually does. Who remembers the movie Dave?
Oh, my God. Does Greg think that Trump pared down the number of people working in the White House? He kept the exact same number and then added family members.
Great movie. The whole idea is, it came out in 19...
Okay. Explain it to us. I mean, if he's fucking up politics, I can't imagine what he's going to do to pop culture.
1993. Kevin Kline is in it.
Oh, good. All right. So far, so
President
good.
of the United States has a heart attack. This guy looks just like him. They don't want the country to know the president had a heart attack, so they get this guy to dress up as the president and act as the president. They don't tell anybody that the real president is in a coma.
Spoiler alert!
Somewhere. This guy comes...
Somewhere. He's in the basement of the fucking White House.
Comes in, and instead of just being a stand-in, he's like, what the hell, I'm here. I'm going to start doing stuff. I'm going to start doing things that make sense. Common sense. Watch.
A couple things I'd like to go over in the budget.
Do we have anything on the budget today?
No, I don't think so. Now,
I figured out a way to save homeless shelters. If you'll recall, fucking hell, Greg Kelly would be against the changes that Dave made in the fucking budget. Asshole, you would be rooting for Frank Langella.
I think I found some ways to put back the homeless section of the Simpson-Garner Works bill.
Right. But it sounds like communism to me, Greg. I'm sorry. It sounds very communist and communist. I mean, why would you? That's commie stuff. Why would you? Good Lord.
Mr. President, I don't believe that's on your agenda today.
No, it's a last-minute change, Bob.
It's a last-minute change, Mr. Swamp.
Mr. Swamp. Mr. Swamp, what the fuck are you talking about? That guy was the chief of staff to the actual living president, the guy who actually got elected. Look, I like the storyline too, and I think it's adorable. But for fuck's sake, the actual president hired that actual fucking guy in the storyline to carry out actual shit. What? He's not a swamp cat. He wasn't. All right.
See how panicked they got? This is great. Bob, the chief of staff, represents the swamp. Remember that.
Remember that. He also represents the priorities of the Trump administration.
Around that table, but they come around.
We've got 17 defense contractors who are delinquent in their contracts. Is this true, Frank?
I believe so, yes.
So even though they're late, we keep paying them on time.
Well, in a sense. Yeah.
If we took that cash and stuck it in even an ordinary savings account, we'd be making $23 million a month in interest.
Well...
Yeah, but you also cannot... The reason they're delinquent, these contractors, is because the U.S. military is the most advanced on fucking Earth, and you can't dictate the timeline on innovation. And so one of the reasons you keep paying them is so that they don't, because they're private companies, sell their services to somebody else because you don't have them on the line. You're effectively bribing them to not work with other countries that are sanctioned or just packing up their shit and going elsewhere. But also because you want to be first in line for that innovation because they are the finest in the world. That is the theoretical reason for it. Again, I adore the storyline. But for fuck's sake.
Technically, that's true, but... Man, I suppose it's true.
Okay.
Huh? They're coming around. The swamp.
They're coming around. The swamp is finally going to save those fucking commie homeless shelters. What?
Swamp doesn't want to cooperate. Some
with the homeless problem.
are getting it, but they get them bad. I don't want to give away the end of the movie. One more.
Spoiler alert.
One more clip.
Carry the one makes $656 million, which means we can keep the program.
Oh, I'm so mad. I was Dracula, and I'm Dracula again, and my own kind of sucking the blood out of the homeless. He saved the homeless shelters from the evil swampy vampire, and it makes Greg Kelly happy, even though he hates the program.
Right there. The swamp. A common sense president, fake president, just took
Are you saying he's illegitimate? That's terrible.
Power away from the swamp, and they hate it.
It was a pro-Democrat movie, stupid.
That holds true. Folks, I know it's just a movie.
Do ya? Do ya? Because I have a feeling, Greg, that if you actually gave a shit about children and Home Alone came on commercial television, during the commercial breaks, you would report Kevin's mom to Child Protective Services.
But it actually inspires. And so did this week. Matt Gaetz on the floor.
Oh my fucking God. Matt Gaetz is not Dave, asshole. This guy wants to cut 30% out of the budget, that most of it goes to helping people who are poor. Or, what the fuck?
For the House of...
It's literally the exact opposite. He's Frank Langella.
Representatives. I know. The swamp...
We need the swamp to get to work? What? Where the fuck? Where are you driving? What? Who typed that into the Chiron? We need the swamp to get to work? First of all, I thought Trump drained the fucking swamp. This is... I'm starting to get lightheaded from how fucking stupid this is. Jesus Christ.
Mom says no, right? Just like the swamp was saying no to that fake president in the movie Dave.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. Yeah, totally. Yeah, where a minority of the group in the room represented by Frank Langella, represents a minority of Republicans who go against even the majority of their own party and to fuck their own speaker.
You can't do it this way. We've never done it this way. What are you doing? You're going to screw the whole thing up for everybody. You've heard that, right?
Well, yeah, especially when you're in a lifeboat and he's like, why can't we drill for oil now? You guys act like you don't like oil. We all know oil is a great way to get rich. And if we had more money, we could buy more food. And if we could buy more food, we'll eat better. Just because we're in a lifeboat in the middle of the ocean with limited and dwindling funds and limited and dwindling food doesn't mean we can't start drilling for oil right now. Just because nobody's ever done it before doesn't mean it's a bad idea. What the fuck are you doing? I'm drilling for oil in the middle of the lifeboat. What does it look like I'm doing? Genius.
I have hope somehow.
Dave gives me hope. I have hope that Matt Gaetz will save the funding for homeless shelters. Lord of fucking mighty.
And this is not chaos. All week long, the fake news saying there's chaos on Capitol Hill. Oh my goodness, the disarray. No, this is democracy, actually.
No, it isn't. It's minority rule. It's the same thing with Tommy Tuberville being able to hold up a bunch of appointments without any effort whatsoever. When everybody else, 95% of the fucking country is trying to get shit done.
You want to see chaos? We know chaos, right? The border situation. This is chaos. Children being brought to drag shows. This is insanity and chaos, all right?
Well, I mean, it's well organized. Obviously, they had light cues and stuff like that.
And losing a 20-year war.
Losing a 20-year war? The only way you lose a 20-year war is by going another decade.
Afghanistan. That's chaos.
No, it's not, actually. We've been out of that fucking place for 2 years.
The people, we can do a much better job.
Oh, God. That... I swear to God, there's no one in that studio. There can't be another human being in that studio helping him run that like, how does anyone else sign off on that shit? It's like the word salad hour. Motherfucker.